fabulous University of Sharjah. It's an absolute delight to be here. We've all remarked on what a magnificent building it is, and I'm sure you're all very, very thrilled to be part of this. Now, this summit is brought to you in conjunction with CNBC Arabia, and that is the region's first business television channel, bringing you business news that keeps you up to date. And this is the second time that CNBC Arabia have joined in this forum too. And now, in this summit, as partners, of course, we have the University of Sharjah. So we're absolutely thrilled to be here. Now, we've gathered a wonderful group of experts for you today here. It's a real unique opportunity to really talk to these people and to understand what's going on within the aviation sector. And throughout the day, we're going to listen to the impact of the Arab Spring on the regional aviation. We're going to talk a bit about that. We're also going to talk about Arab aviation in the global emerging markets and get a more global, more universal view. Then after lunch, we'll have a Meet the Press, which will be of great interest to all of you, and then we'll look at a masterclass in aviation where the Chief Executive of Air Arabia is going to talk to you, tell you everything you need to know about this industry, and he'll also be joined with the President of Commercial with Airbus. Now, of course, we're a big welcome to all of the students here. It's a joy to have all of you joining us today, and we really want this to be a very, very interactive discussion. We're also very grateful for many of the media that have joined us here from right around the region. So it's a real honor to have you here too, and indeed your role at this summit is a very, very important one. And at this summit in the next few hours, we're really hoping to engage you with the growing importance of the aviation sector on the economy, and not just the economy, but also on the well-being of the region. We're here to educate you with all the facts and the figures, and hopefully to inspire you to take a fresh look at the aviation sector and how it's leading the way here in the Middle East. Now, the emerging markets, of course, are leading the way in terms of growth in the aviation sector, and the Middle East has surpassed Latin America and indeed Asia Pacific to be the #1 trailblazer really in terms of growth. So the results of today's dialogue, we're not just here to have a chat. We're actually going to take this very, very seriously and put the results of this into a white paper, and a white paper that will be used for all of the members partaking, all of you as well, and for the wider industry. The theme of this media summit is also mobility in the Middle East. And I think you laid out very, very clearly there just how interconnected we all are. I love when you talked about the fact that you're putting people on planes that have never been on it before. And it actually reminds me of a series I did on airlines many, many years ago in the UK, when we were talking to the customer relations and saying, what are the sort of challenges you're coming up? What are the questions people ask? And there was a lovely one where when somebody called up to just inquire about the time of the plane and just what was going on and everything. And the operator, in terms of wanting to know what aircraft they were flying on, said, but so who are you flying with? And they said, oh, my mother, my father, and all the family are coming as well. So there's still in this region, you know, this huge new opportunity for people who, yes, will be traveling for the very first time. And as you said, once they do travel, they're going to be there maybe not once a month, but certainly once a year, once a quarter, and in no time at all they're going to become regular travelers. So, such opportunity here. And let's get right down to business here. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to look at this session at Arab aviation in global emerging economies. And indeed, we have a lot to cover. Let me just welcome our two speakers to the panel, please. Our first speaker will be he is an expert on aviation regulation. He works with the UAE General Civil Aviation Authority, a body that was created in 1996 by federal cabinet decree. He and his team, of course, are responsible for the coordination and the regulation of civil aviation in the Emirates. The authority provides designated aviation services and monitors the safety and the security of the aviation industry within the UAE, and particularly in the upper corridors, as you refer to them. So please welcome the Deputy Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority from the UAE, Mr. Omar bin Ghalib. And of course, we're absolutely thrilled to be here at the American University of Sharjah. We're absolutely delighted to be here and extremely honored to have on our panel the university's most senior person. He joined the university here in 2008, but he's no stranger to the region, having spent 10 years as provost at the American University in Beirut. There he was very instrumental in rebuilding that distinguished institution, and indeed here in Sharjah, he is putting the American University of Sharjah very, very firmly on the international map. So please welcome the Chancellor of the American University of Sharjah, Dr. Peter Heath. And gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. Adel, you have very, very kindly laid out some of the challenges, some solutions, and indeed some suggestions as to where we move from here. And I'd like now to address to our other panel, to Omar, perhaps if you might take on to what you see as some of the challenges, and perhaps even a few solutions within it too. But the key challenges that you see in terms of where we're going here in emerging economies and also in the Middle East.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think this is a great opportunity to be here with this gathering, with this summit for the Arab Aviation. We as UAE General Civil Aviation Authority, our part is to regulate the industry in terms of safety, security, environmental and sustainable air transport system. I think my colleague Adil have covered very well the challenges, and where I will also add up on similar challenges or perhaps a few others. Everybody knows that the challenges faced the aviation industry, number one is the dynamic increase of the oil prices. This is really making it very difficult for our operators to be profitable in terms of their operation. This is a very big challenge, and I think the airline and the operators are doing a lot of efforts to reduce their unit cost and return to be profitable. The other challenges, in my opinion, is the shortage of the skilled people who work on the industry, especially in the technical field. The shortage now of the pilots. Airlines are really working very hard in training and attracting a new cadet for the fleet that our national carriers, especially in the UAE, to be on board. So the challenges are quite heavy in getting a new cadet. This is in terms of pilots, as well as also our technical expertise in terms of engineer and mechanics. That also brings another challenge for our national carriers, also as well over the region. These are the main challenges. If we look at the aviation downturn and the reduction of the travel business on the region, that reduced because of the situation on the region, that make it very challenging to the airline people to fill up the gap of passenger as well as cargo. I think the demand will make it, the demand is there and make it very difficult for our airline to fill this gap. Also as well, one of the challenges, the emission trading scheme, which is the environmental now issues that European have imposed by introducing the beginning of this January 2012, any operator operate to the EU and also overflying the EU have to pay this fees. This make it very also challenging to our carriers.
جودة الخدمات المقدمة مقارنة يمكن الأسعار اللي تعرضها شركات الطيران من هالناحية. نحن كدورنا كهيئة طيران مدني نحن نحط التشريعات اللي تخص مثل ما قلت لك أنا السلامة والأمن في عملية الطيران ونضمن جودتها من قبل المشغلين. فهذه يعني نحن متفقين عليها أن المشغل لازم يكون على مستوى عالي من ناحية تشغيلية، من ناحية السلامة ومن ناحية الأمن. طبعا المردود في الخدمه ونوعيه الخدمه وجوده الخدمه هذه يعني تختلف من شركه، هذه يدخل فيها عمليه التدريب الكادر على تقديم هذه الخدمه وافضل يعني مثل ما نقول المستوى للزبون.
هو يعني عامة لما نقارن طبعا المنطقة للشركات العربية في كل، لما نقارن مستوى الخدمة ومستوى الجودة بمجال الطيران ونقارنها مع مناطق أخرى كثيرة، سواء كان أمريكا أو سواء كان الشرق أو كان آسيا الوسطى، نشوف مستوى مرتفع جدا. يعني لا وجه للمقارنة، يعني وسبب نجاح الشركات اللي موجودة بالذات في الخليج وفي الشرق الأوسط لما تقارنهم بشركات أخرى، لأن المسافر عامة في منطقة الخليج والشرق الأوسط تشوف توقعاته من الخدمة كبيرة. فلما نجي للقطاع الخدمي ككل سواء كان فنادق أو مطاعم أو شركات طيران نشوف مستوى الجودة فيها عالية. وضروري المنافسة اللي موجودة عندنا بالمنطقة منافسة شديدة، فلذلك هذه يعني بيكون لا خيار أمام أي شركة طيران إلا يكون مستمر في ارتفاع مستوى الجودة أو يخسر زبائن اللي عنده.
كمان يعني المهم أن في اختيار، يعني مثلا في فنادق في نجم واحد، نجمين وثلاث نجوم، يعني في مستويات مختلفة والجودة حسب الاهتمام المستهلك.
And they're going to be with us on the second session, so perhaps the first question is best to be left for the second session because people who know much better than me about it, so they'll talk on that. From an LCC, I think it's changing. The industry will have to change, and not just the Middle East LCCs, but we've seen a lot of development in the LCCs, and there is the hybrid carriers coming in. It's all driven by customers. It's really what customers looks at. The LCC's objective is to make sure, just like any airline, to make sure they contain the cost and they operate a very safe and reliable operation. The level of service on the airplane will keep changing as you get more technology, as you get more demands, and as you're able to do more things on the airplanes, you will find this is moving. Today we've got iPads you can offer on airplanes, all sorts of things. Telephones are becoming a normal thing, mobile to be used, and some people are for it, some people are against it on airplanes. So it's really what the technology can offer and what customer wants. And then we continue to see these changes happening.
Now we have a few quick questions. Sir, if I may take, please, very short questions to the point. We've one here, then the microphone, if we have one here, let's get them together, and then I'll give you the last question, so bear with us.
بالنسبة للطيران الاقتصادي وما يعانيه في المنطقة، طبعا نحن إذا رجعنا وتكلمنا عن اتفاقية دمشق، هي اتفاقية يعني نابعة من قرارات جامعة الدول العربية ومتابعة من وزراء النقل العرب على تنفيذ هذه الاتفاقية. فاليوم نحن عندنا اتفاقية لو طبقت بين الدول العربية لكان التنقل بين الدول العربية مفتوح وبكل سلاسة. يعني مثل ما نتكلم عن سوق سوق اقتصادية مشتركة. فهذه من أهم الأشياء الاتفاقية التي تنادي بها. فمع الأسف يعني نحن كدول نحاول أن نشجع تطبيق هذه الاتفاقية، بس في يعني دول لم حتى توقع عليها. فهذا يعني شيء داخلي لكل دولة يعني تنفذ هذه التطبيقات. بخصوص موضوع انك انت كمسافر تعاني انك انت في مرحله انك انت تسافر من مدينه الى اخرى على اساس انك تستفيد من خدمه اللي هي الشركات اللو كوست، بما انك انت في عاصمه غير موجود فيها هذا النشاط. هذا طبعا هي سياسات داخليه لكل دوله، يعني احنا في دوله الامارات نرحب مثل ما قلت لك بسياسه الاجواء المفتوحه، نفتح مطاراتنا لكل الدول، لكن في دول بعض الدول تقول لك انا المطارات الرئيسيه حمنع اللو كوست بما اسبابه اللي هي انه يمكن يضر الناقل الوطني لهذه الدوله. شكرا.
And again, we will have the Air Carriers, Arab Air Carriers Organization and IATA will be in the next session. So we can totally get into that. Madam, a quick question.
I agree with
Please.
Sheikh Khalid have
And wrap this
mentioned,
up.
it's the only thing that where we can get aviation training isn't within the airline. So the airline have a huge training center. When the students are graduating, they just get the benefit of enjoying the national carriers. Now, I think in Abu Dhabi they have a GCAS center recently has been opened for different training in civil aviation, and I think this is an opportunities that people can only take courses, but a degree or a very solid organization to look after, to develop the aviation sector in terms of a career development or career path. It's very short of this. Thank you.
And Chancellor, while you might not be turning them out with aviation qualifications, you're certainly giving them the strong foundation, particularly here with your engineering degrees and many of the other areas too, that will equip them for perhaps the next step.
Yeah, every industry wants us to prepare students for exactly that industry. And let me give you an example. From the time I was provost at the American University of Beirut, we had in Saudi Arabia, a computer IT company came and said, you know, we're interested in hiring the graduates. And it'll be the same with our graduates here. And they said, we asked, do you have any comments? And they said, yes, you don't specialize. We need this program, that program, that program. And you should be like the Jordanian University for Science and Technology, because their graduates come out and they have this program and that program and that program. They know, they just move right into the employment. And when you're students, we have to retrain them and so forth. So then I asked, in 5 years, who are the managers? And they said, well, your students are much better, actually, because with the JUST program, students are right where they started, and that's where they stay. While once your students learn and have the kind of critical skills of thinking and problem solving and so forth, they move up. But if only you would train them in this program, in this program, in this program. So, well, we're training them to be your managers. And that's really the goal. So I think there are many niches, but one, at least the profile of this university is, we want our graduates to replace Mr. Adil Ali and provide competition for him and be pushing him to do his job better. And other universities will be doing other niches and so forth.
Where do you want to perhaps maybe work closer when you move forward for the next months and years ahead? How do you work closer?
I think obviously there is a huge role for airline sectors or aviation sectors to participate in more with people like universities, like the authorities, to say how could we use a route map in developing people for the future. And that is a role that, the owners, like us and the aircraft manufacturers and so on, good to be more proactive and coming forward and offering solutions of what can we do. Apprentices used to be a very popular thing in the past, and I think that's probably what is needed. Get people, and we already do a lot of summer programs, for example, from this university, where people come in and have a taste of what is this industry like for 3 months. And I think we just need to do more of that.
We'll wrap it up there. Thank you all for your input into this discussion. I really value that. And again, looking at the aviation in the global emerging markets and particularly what's going on here in the region.